Look, we've talked about this before. There's a cluster of Jeffrey Simmons, Deron Payne, now Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
And then there's Aaron Donald, who sits high and above that cluster by $7-8 million per year. And that's where Quinnen Williams, I think, comes into play. The Jets defensive lineman, who has been staying away like Dexter Lawrence was from offseason workouts, trying to get that new contract, the contract he has earned. Reportedly, the two sides are not close on an extension. Joe Douglas, GM of the Jets, says he's optimistic and hopeful about reaching an agreement. I can't help but wonder whether or not Quinnen is trying to get closer to Aaron Donald than that cluster of Simmons and Payne and Lawrence.
That seems to be the obvious thought, right, Mike? I mean, I'm with you. I kind of think the same thing too. Like, where's the disconnect here? You know, and you know, you look at, like you talked about, Javon Hargrave, Deron Payne, Dexter Lawrence, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams right in that group. You know, he might have had a better year than some of those guys last year, but he hasn't had a better career than a lot of those guys we're talking there right there. So I can't imagine him logically being able or asking for much more than what Jeffrey Simmons is getting and think you're going to get that. Let alone, I can understand the Jets going, wait. Quinnen, you've been really good, but last year was like, you know, really your first stellar year. You know, Jeffrey Simmons has been in the all-pro conversation like every year of his career. You know, that's where I could see the Jets being a little bit like, wait, you don't get Aaron Donald money. We're not exactly sure you've outperformed Dexter Lawrence or Jeffrey Simmons or Javon Hargrave or Deron Payne. So that is the interesting part to me, Mike, is what is he asking? I would think they come and figure something out here. They need Quinnen Williams if they want to be a legit AFC team.
There was a time in the NFL, and this was years ago, where there was a concern, I think, that once you paid an interior defensive lineman big money,
right,
you could expect a dip.
Right.
And it's kind of like, you know, they become so laser focused on getting that contract, they're impervious to the pain and the stress and the wear and tear of that position. And once you get paid,
you relax.
Like, man, this really hurts.
Right.
I'm getting too old for this crap. Now, Aaron Donald has defied that. He just gets better and better. But it's not an easy position to play. You're constantly being hit from every possible angle by the offensive lineman. You know, your glory is in chewing up as many blockers as possible so someone else can go make the play. The primary stat for your position isn't even an official stat.
Right.
The old F up the play.
Right.
You know, you create havoc and then they just run right around you and it doesn't show up anywhere in the overall stat sheet. It's a thankless job.
It is.
And I can understand why there's only so many years a guy can do it at a high level. And that may be part of the concern when it comes to paying these guys. How many years can you really do it? Can anyone do it at a high level?
Yeah, well, it is a special guy. And, you know, you raised the right questions at that position too. You know, I think there's a lot of things that go into factor. And to play that position, you know, like I talk about all the time, linemen are kind of cows, right? And then, you know, the D tackles, in my experience, are kind of the bulls that they're angry and they're ready for anything. That's the way the good ones are. They love football. They can flip a switch and get angry in a hurry because you have to be a little bit because like what you're talking about. It's, oh, wait, guy's blocking me down from this way. Oh, I got two guys blocking me, and then somebody else takes a cheap shot on me while they're doing that. I mean, it is a thankless job. And you have to be like, you know, special, not only physically tough, but of course, like, hey, your job is like, think about what they're being asked. Hey, hold up a bunch of 300-pounders and don't let them move you. And then, hey, in the process while you're just throw them off you and make tackles. No big problem. They're only 320 and strong and athletic. It is crazy. And that's where I do think teams are hesitant with that because of all the things you stated. I had a great experience with Albert Hainsworth, right, in Tennessee Titans. I was there with that conversation. I know we've talked about Brandon Marshall. It's a different position, but, you know, they were scared, I think, because of that aspect you talked about right there. Titans were scared to give Albert Hainsworth big money because they were afraid if they did, he might take his foot off the gas pedal a little bit, right? And, you know, eventually he signs with the Commanders, the Redskins at the time, and gets paid, but kind of happened that way.
And took his foot off the gas a little bit.
Exactly, right. Exactly.
And took his foot off the gas a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Well, and then Mike Shanahan Mike Shanahan comes in and says, I'm using a 3-4 and I'm making you a nose tackle in the 3-4, even though that's not what you do.
Right.
Even though that's not where you're comfortable.
Yes.
And that set the stage for there's a new sheriff in town. And I'm not being critical. I'm just saying that's how it happened.
Exactly.
It all went downhill after
Exactly.
that once Shanahan took over because Hainsworth came the year before Shanahan did. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.